Hello and welcome to this video where I will show you how you can generate reports as PDF documents in D365 FO. If you are watching this video, you probably need and search for a solution in D365 FO which supports PDF generation feature. This is the agenda for this video. I will first cover some basics about PDF standards and conformance levels so that you will see that PDF has several variations and that you first need to identify what you really need. Afterwards, I will show you how to set up Docentric print destinations for generating PDF documents, explain some specifics about that, and finally print PDF document from the system. In the last part of this video, I will explain how you can validate generated PDF files. Now let's take a look at Wikipedia's PDF information. We can read here that PDF is an ISO standardized version of the portable document format, which is basically intended for archiving and long-term preservation of electronic documents. We can see that we have several standards. The standard is called ISO 19005. The first version was already published in 2005, and then versions followed in 2011 and 2012, and the last version from 2020. The main requirement of the PDF documents is that they can be reproduced in the same way with different software in the coming years. Further down in this Wikipedia site, we can read a little bit about background, about description, and then we can also read about conformance levels and versions. And we see that we have PDF 1 and PDF 2, 3, and 4 versions. And here we can read a little bit about history and what each of these versions contain. I would also like to point out an article which we have on the Docentric blog, which also talks about PDF standard version and conformance levels. So here you can see what the versions mean and what they contain, and then also what conformance levels mean and what they contain. So you can also get some additional information by reading this article. Okay, now when we know these basics, let's go and see what kind of setup is required in Docentric in order to be able to generate PDF documents. Standard D365 FO doesn't have out-of-the-box support for generating PDF documents. Docentric AX Full Edition is filling this gap by giving you several options for generating and storing PDF documents from reports in D365 FO. So if your business requires PDF compliant documents, then Docentric AX, starting from version 346, supports the following PDF versions and conformance levels. So let's take a look now, what does it take to print PDF documents from Docentric? First, I'm going to open the Docentric workspace, go to reports, and I'm going to use purchase orders for this example now. So here I can see the templates which I'm using. These are the Docentric templates. And in the next step, I'm going to open print management. And here I have the module level print management setup. I go and set up printing. Currently I am on the Docentric screen. I see that I am choosing default template ID, which in this case will be okay, but I could, for example, also use the SSRS if I wanted to, or I could use specifically one of the templates which I'm using here. But in my case, I'm just going to say, okay, Docentric, just select whatever you have set as default. Okay, so that's that. But I'm not going to use screen. I want to use file. And I still need to specify that I want PDF output, because normally now, you see, I only have PDF output. And by the way, here we're going to do a little thing. I'm going to make this more dynamic. So this is the output file name. Currently it's just purchase order, PDF. I want to use placeholders, one of the features in Docentric, and I'm going to use purchase ID so that I will have dynamic file name. I'm just going to insert this placeholder here where the name is. Okay, so this is the little tweak. I'm going to use, okay, I want to download the output file. I could also use any of the storages that Docentric file print destination supports, but in this case I just want to download the file. And I want to set up that I want PDFA conformance level. Currently, I don't have that option. And here I can see the available options. So in this case, I'm going to use 2A. Okay. Once I have that set, I click OK. And that's all the setup I need. Just make sure that I save everything. And in the next step, I'm just going to go ahead and print it. So here I already have purchase order confirmation. I'm just going to, this is from the journal, actually printing directly from the journal, one of the already posted purchase orders. So here I'm going to use print management so that the settings which I just provided are going to be applied. Okay, here is the result. So this is my purchase order. So let me open it using Adobe Acrobat. Okay, so here we have our purchase order. And as you can see, it's also digitally signed. That's another feature that we support with Docentric for the PDF generated document. And in here in the top line, we see that the Acrobat recognized that we have a PDFA document. So basically it prevents modifications. So currently it's open in read-only mode. It doesn't tell us which version or which conformance level, but basically it says, okay, this is a PDFA document. Now, if we want to check if this version is okay, then we will do something else. Actually, we're going to go and proof this PDFA file. Here I have already Googled for PDFA validators. Normally I use PDFForge, but today their server is offline, so I actually cannot use it. So I have just decided to use some other ones. Let's say I'll pick this one. They more or less work in the same way. You just open this online validator and then you choose the file you want to use. And okay, this is the file which I want to use in my case. I load it. And okay, here I can even set the conformance level against which I want to check. I just keep the auto detection in this case and launch validation. Let's see. Okay, the result, the document is valid, conformance level applied, PDFA 2A. So this is exactly what we have set. So you have seen how easy it is to set a PDFA format in Docentric and how to print a document. Basically, it's just business as usual, except that we set up that we want PDFA document. And as I have said before, this is supported for Docentric templates as well as SSRS designs. So let me quickly also modify the print management so that I'm going to use the SSRS design in this case. Okay, SSRS built-in design. Okay, everything else can remain. We want to have the PDF output and we can keep the dynamic file name. Good. So this is set and let's run the printing again. By the way, this is another information that's also handy sometimes. Here we see which SSRS report was picked and which Docentric template was used. And by the way, if you want to see this, you can go ahead and set it up under user options, account, Docentric. Here we have Discover Report technical name. So if you have this enabled, you're actually going to see the information about the SSRS report which was used and also about the template. All right, now let me repeat printing again, this time using the SSRS design. So we have got it again. We see this time SSRS built-in design was used. Okay, if we go ahead and if we see this file now in Adobe Acrobat first. So this is the standard SSRS design. And as we can see, PDFA is actually applied also in this one. And let's now use our validator to verify this one. So let me do it again. Choose file. So it's this one now. Open and launch validation. We see that again we have got a valid PDFA 2A document. So you have seen how easy it is to generate PDFA documents with Docentric. Okay, I would also like to mention a few things about print destinations. in conjunction with PDFA documents. For example, here we have different types of print destinations. Of course, if we use screen and if we set one of the PDFA conformance levels, that wouldn't make sense because we're getting results on screen. And similar things apply for the printer. Okay, file and email, we always generate a report, and basically if this report is PDF, then we're going to get the result like that. But if we have the printer, there is one exception. Typically, if we print a printer to a physical printer, of course, the printout is the printout. It comes out on paper. But there is something we can do in Docentric regarding printing. Actually, we can set print as PDF. And if we select print as PDF, as I have set it up here, in that case, if I have selected that I want to use one of the PDF-A formats, that one is going to be applied. Basically, here we are just using the possibility of document routing agent that can transmit the file from the cloud to our local network using document routing agent. It can transmit PDF files, and we can use this possibility to actually save the PDF files somewhere in your local network. So these are some of the exceptions that you would need to know. Since you can also select different formats, not PDFs, for example, if I go to File and, for example, if I select Word instead of PDF, and if I would want to print it as PDF-A, of course this doesn't make sense because it only applies if I'm selecting PDF as the output. So these are a few exceptions which we need to be aware of how this works, but I think they are quite logical and we shouldn't expect some surprises here. So I think this was more or less all that we need to know regarding printing PDF-A documents. So let us review once again our agenda and what we have learned today. We have learned about PDFA standards, their versions and conformance levels. Then we moved on to generating PDFA reports, where we discussed how to set Docentric AX. We printed a few documents with Docentric templates, with SSRS designs, and we also talked about some specifics of print destination, specifically printer print destination. And finally, we have seen how to validate a PDFA file when it is generated using one of the online validator, and we have also seen how the generated PDFA looks in Acrobat Reader. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video that was informative and that you have learned how to quickly print a PDFA document if you need one. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.